use of steroids has been a problem since the 1960s. Thousands of athletes have tested positive since testing began, and there have been multiple fines, suspensions, and many other things handed out, but there's no evidence of stopping, according to CNN. For sports to continue to be fun, fair, and competitive, performance-enhancing drugs must be completely eliminated from competition. We must eliminate performance-enhancing drugs from sports because they're damaging athletes' bodies, they're damaging sports altogether. Athletes that use are causing sports to deteriorate. They're losing all integrity, and it's time for that to stop. First, I'm going to tell you why performance-enhancing drugs must be eliminated. Athletes that use are jeopardizing the future. They're jeopardizing the future of their bodies and themselves, and they're jeopardizing the future of sports. They're supposed to be role models to people like us. I know when I was a little kid, I wanted to go to every sporting event that I could, and there's kids all around the world that beg to go. When they hear that their favorite athlete is tested positive for steroids, they're going to think that's what they need to do to be great like their role models. Kids get their hands on steroids, and that's going to be a downward slope. Teen use in the early 90s led the DEA to classify steroids as a Class 3 drug, and 46% of teens surveyed by a group called Monitoring the Future said steroids are very easy to get, and 2.9 or 479,000 teens admitted to use. By 2014, that number rose to 4,590,435 teens, or 11%, according to the DEA diversion. Athletes who use at a very young age, not a very young age, but a young age, are more at risk than adults that use because it forces their bodies into adulthood. Their bones stop growing prematurely, and they start to develop more, according to Global Chains. The use of PEDs is unethical, and athletes who use are ruining their own reputation and the reputation of professional sports. To solve these problems, athletes must start getting heavier fines and suspensions. They're hurting themselves in the future, and they're hurting sports right now. Steroids are hard to get rid of, but it's not going to be impossible. We're way too easy on athletes, and that has become the major problem. Missing 4 weeks out of an NFL season or 80 games out of an MLB season, that doesn't seem like anything to them, and they know it's not. Non-athlete penalty is a $1,000 fine and a one-year sentence to prison for steroid use. The NFL, the NFL, for example, the first test, 4 games, no fine or jail time. Second time, 6 games, and the third time is a full season, with yet still no fine and still no jail time. PEDs only should be excused for medical reasons. We must increase the amount of fines that we hand out for steroids and make fines more expensive. Along with heavier fines and suspension, we need to give jail time. There should be 1 test, and that's half a season. The second test is a season long, and the third test should be a career ban and a sentence to jail time. Right now, the only way that athletes get jail time is if they destroy the evidence that they have used steroids or they lie in a federal court. They should be given a chance to appeal and prove that it is for medical use, that they have a doctor's prescription and everything else, but if it is proven that they're just trying to enhance their ability, they should be taken away in handcuffs. The more pros that test positive, the worse the penalty should become. Athletes have gotten away with too much, and it's time for that to change. Now I'll discuss why steroid-free sports are better sports. If we punish heavy enough, athletes will be forced to quit using steroids. We see heavier punishment, we'll begin seeing steroids different. Right now, teens don't think steroids are that big of a deal. They see athletes using them, but they don't see anybody passing away right there or overdosing on steroids or anything like that. But it does happen. Currently, those people that see it like that are the problem. Those are the reason that fines aren't given out more. Those are the reason that the suspensions aren't as serious. If we start to see lifetime bans for people using steroids just twice, we're going to see that it is more serious than we originally thought. Teen use is a problem, but seeing pros get banned and fined will lead to us walking away from, if we were asked to use if we wanted to use steroids or offered steroids, it will lead us to walk away, seeing pros getting in more and more trouble. If we start to fine more, we won't have to worry about sports becoming muscle-bound freaks or chemically enhanced people. It'll just be fair games leading to better games. The only way athletes will become better is through hard work and dedication, not through a needle in the vein. If we're going to do something to see sports, we must start now. Athletes will not stop the use if all they're getting is a slap on the wrist. Athletes are aware that there is minimal punishment, and that's why they keep what they're doing up. Athletes are cheating the sport, cheating competitors, and cheating themselves. We can either stand by and watch the sports we've grown up on be ruined, or we can stand up and stop these sports from being ruined so we can keep them going for our children.
So, these athletes that use it for coming back to injury, do they get addicted to it and then just keep on using it throughout the seasons?
I think they see, like, there's no history that's proven that, but I think they see themselves, like, when they come back being stronger and healthier than they were before, it makes them want to keep using steroids. Yeah.
Do you believe that's fair that, like, some MLB players are getting in the Hall of Fame ballot while using steroids, but Pete Rose is banned for life?
I don't think that's fair. I think they cheated more than anything Pete Rose could have done there.
What can we as an audience do about like this topic to make a change?
The only thing we can do is, like, we have to stand up for what we're doing now, like not to bring up opponents for the football season, but there was Rushville kids that got in trouble for steroid use, and they still got to play this season. Like, we have to take it upon ourselves to make something change now.
So is this more common in pros or college or?
The more common place for steroid use is pros, like the NFL and the MLB. Like, basketball and stuff like that doesn't have as much steroid use because being muscle, like being basically ripped, doesn't help as much in NBA.
Do you know what would happen to a college football player if they got caught with steroids?
They'd probably get expelled from the school and at least a season-long fine, suspension.
I know somebody that's really into bodybuilding, and as of right now, they don't agree with it, but they agree that once your body's like at its peak and you're like he's officially grown and he said around 24, 25, that he believes that it's okay because your body's already basically done developing. And in bodybuilding competitions in the lower levels, they do test for it, but once you get to professional, they don't test for that anymore. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because, like, when they did test, like, it was, people were still testing positive and it continued to happen. Like, it wasn't changing, like, but it needs to because there's so many more side effects than just premature development and stuff like that. Like, you rupture your tendons and stuff like that.
So if an athlete is prescribed steroids, how do you know if they're not using it for their sport?
Well, that's the thing right now, like, athletes, even if they're using it for medical use, they still get in trouble. Like, Mark McGuire, he had a back surgery and he had to use steroids to recover, but he still got in trouble and his home run record is still argued of whether or not it counts.
With that being said, like the home run record and everything, does steroids not make sports more exciting? Though you got bigger hits, you got more home runs. That's what people pay to see, home runs and stuff like that.
I mean,
Caliber.
it does make it more exciting, but if athletes didn't have that chance to do that, they would have to work harder, and you would end up with the same result. The pitchers wouldn't be as, like, striking out as many batters either, if you think about it like that. Like, pitcher was using steroids around the same area that all the home run records were set and everything, so.
All right.